उधर इजी है कभी आप एक नया रुपये हॉस्पिटल में मारोगे उसके सामने विंडसर जाएगा B605 कभी भी आप आधी रात Hello, Jamal. Sorry to know about Kirti's device. At you last at that release of Kirti because I was an immediate neighbor. Yeah. Making घर में रहते थे. And I got to know in the internet, I mean social media. But I've been following every things of about Kirti. And let's see, sir. हाँ जी sir.
Easy.
बस आधी चलो
पाण्याची बाटली दे
ठीक आहे सर दिसतं
हे एकत्रच होणार का? बरं झालं ते पुन्हा बाईक नको ना मग कशाला ठेवलं झालं?
असू दे राहू दे Good afternoon everyone, we are all set to start. I request all of you to please settle down. Can you please close the door?
मागे कोणाला काही दिसणारच नाही काही कसं मॅनेज करणार सगळे
Well, good afternoon everyone. On behalf of the organizing committee of the 20th Pune I'm sure all the dignitaries on the dais are very well known to you, but still I'll complete the formality. We have with us Dr. Jabbar Patel, who is a veteran filmmaker and the festival director of this.
Veteran? I'm still young.
Then we have Mr. Satish Araikar, member of the organizing team, Mr. Ravi Gupta, and some others. Well, this is the first press conference of the 20th Pune International Film Festival, and I request Dr. Jabbar Patel to please start the press conference.
Thank you.
Very good afternoon. I welcome you all the media of Pune. In the beginning, I want to just start on a sad note of I mean, there are no adjectives to Lataji, is a Gan Sumradni and so many things which I don't believe in. I believe in Lata Mangeshkar, and just losing her was a great loss to her. Let me first just express my views. So, this is the 20th version of the Pune International Film Festival. I welcome you all. And this has come suddenly, I mean, missing Lataji. The committee has decided that this 20th Pune International Film Festival will be dedicated to the memory of Lataji. So the festival is totally dedicated to Lata Mangeshkar, a great singer. मराठीमध्ये पु ल देशपांड्यांनी एक अतिशय सुंदर त्यांचं वर्णन केलेलं आहे. मला असं वाटतं दॅट इज द बेस्ट आय हॅव एव्हर हर्ड अबाउट दीदी. जोपर्यंत अवकाशामध्ये चंद्र सूर्य तारे आहेत तोपर्यंत लताचा आवाज आहे. I think in this one line, he expresses the power, the magic, the melody of Lalaji. There are very few people, especially from young generations. Last 10, 15 years, she was not very active also, but my generation, I was lucky, fortunate to have me and Satish also, to have us been associated with Lataji, because she sang for about 12, 13 songs for my films. So I knew her personally, I knew her what she is and what she was. It was something great loss. So much so I'll tell you, many of you called me on that day that please give a bite or reaction. I said, sorry, I can't. I did not express, till today, I haven't said anything about Lataji. And I think still I'm just dumb on that. I can't express. Anyhow, so we have decided that the festival will be dedicated to memory of Lata Mangeshkar. This year we have something special. We are having total entries of 1,521 films from 88 countries. With all the corona all over the world, most of the productions, they didn't start the films, or they started halfway. If the the production is complete, post-production things would not be done. So with still all that, we have received from 88 countries about 1,521 entries, and of which about 120 films from 73 countries will be screened in the theatre, and 26 films will be screened online on Shift 72 platform. So this we have decided. And usually just give everything with the opening film. Then we have world competition, we have Marathi competition, then global cinema, international retrospective, Indian retrospective, Indian cinema, Marathi cinema today, and some special screening. And I think I just want to tell you that this year we have very important people who have the Janma Shatabdis, centenary years. We have picked up 3, others will be there in the festival, but these are very eminent 3 people. And I know we are going to point out some missing things, but what happens is centenary years, sometimes halfway the centenary year starts or ends or something like that. So don't worry, we will not miss anybody for the centenary year. But this year, I'm very happy to announce that this is we are celebrating the centenary year of the greatest ever filmmaker of India, internationally known as Satyajit Ray, Manikda, we call him lovingly. His centenary year we are celebrating. Second is Pandit Bhimsen Joshi, his centenary year. And third, a great poet, Sahil Ludhianvi. The 3 people you see on the flex here, these 3 people were including, so some special things will be done regarding them. So this general opening note, I now hand over my mic to Ravi Gupta, your secretary, who was associated with Manikda Satyajit Ray. He produced 3 of his films. So he'll speak about Satyajit Ray first. Ravi Gupta.
Thank you, Jabbar. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the first press conference of the 20th Pune International Film Festival. Some of you may be wondering why we are having this film festival now in March when we just completed the last film festival, the 19th one, just a few months ago in December. Now, as you're aware, because of COVID, the festival, which is normally held in January, had to be postponed repeatedly. And then we had an online festival. And then as the theatres were allowed to be opened up, we decided that we should ensure that the Pune audiences are not deprived of the festival that we normally hold. So therefore we went ahead with the support of the government of Maharashtra, and we completed the festival which we had earlier held online. So therefore we just about managed to complete in December the earlier 19th film festival. And then January was too early for us then to have the next 20th International Film Festival. So therefore, and also because of the Corona, the third wave that was still going on, we decided to wait and watch. And luckily, as things with Omicron settled down, we decided that March was a good time to hold it. So that hopefully from next year we can go back to our January schedule if everything goes back to normal. So we are very happy and delighted that we are bringing this festival to you. And as Jabbar has just mentioned, we are dedicating this festival to our greatest singer and artist, Lata Mangeshkar ji. And we are holding, honoring three of the greatest names who have been associated with Indian cinema and whose birth centenaries we are celebrating. Now, Sachin Satyajit Ray is someone about whom I really don't need to say anything. Everybody knows what a great filmmaker he was. I was lucky and had the honor of interacting with him personally. I was then the managing director of the National Film Development Corporation. We produced 3 of his films, which included Ghare Baire, Ganashatru and Agantuk. And I personally interacted a lot with him on his last film, Agantuk. And I spent a lot of time with him and came very close to Manikda. And he was such a wonderful human being, apart from the fact that he had such a vast talent. I mean, he was a writer, a lyric writer, he could sketch so beautifully well, he could compose music, he was an artist, he made documentaries, he made feature films, he was a storyteller, a story writer. I mean, his skill sets were, the spectrum was phenomenal. And I spent a lot of time in his study, just sort of watching how he was working and the way he used to do his script writing, his sketching and everything. And apart from that, it was amazing that he had such a good understanding of budgets and of production as well. Normally, it's not very often that you find a person who's so artistic also being, you know, financially sort of very able. And I had, during my 13 years in the National Film Development Corporation, been associated with funding of over 150 feature films. And Satyajit Ray was the only one who actually returned a check saying that I have saved on the budget and I don't need that budget. I was so amazed and surprised. It's really amazing because in the film industry, you very, very rarely, in fact, I would say never ever have a situation where a film is made under budget, it always goes over budget. And for a director to sort of give back the money, I've never heard of it. Such was the integrity of the man. So, you know, it's not just the creative abilities of the man, but the integrity of the man. So it was a wonderful thing that he was honored with the Bharat Ratna. He was honored with a Lifetime Achievement Academy Award, the Oscar, the highest that you can get in the industry. He earlier got the Dada Saheb Phalke Award. He had got the Legion d'Honneur from France. So he's, I mean, the number of awards that he's received are so many. But the amazing part is that with his very first film, Pathe Panchali, his sort of, you know, signature was recognized. And the Appu trilogy really sort of was so widely appreciated all across the globe that it was recognized that he was one of the greatest filmmakers of all times and easily the greatest filmmaker coming out of India. I had the honor of presenting his films at the Cannes Film Festival on a couple of occasions. And I can tell you that internationally, he is much, much bigger than what we see him in India outside of Bengal. And Bengal, people appreciate enormously, but outside of Bengal, we still have to appreciate and understand his cinema. So we're very happy that here we will give an opportunity for the younger generation, and hopefully they will sort of watch many of his films and appreciate, because his film is really a textbook to learn cinema. So I'm really happy that on his centenary, birth centenary, we are able to honor that, honor him. I was also, in fact, lucky that I was associated with setting up the Satyajit Ray Film and Television Institute in Calcutta in his honor. So that was, in a way, my homage to him. And today I'm so proud that we as a team are able to honor his centenary celebration. Thank you, Jabbar.
Thank you, Ravi. I mean, I think you have spoken just 10% of what you have in your mind about Manikda. Now I give my mic to my friend Satish Alekar, one of the greatest playwright and internationally known. And also, you know, that Lalit Kala, the institute in Pune University, he headed it for years. And there's a very strong drama department and music and dance department, but he was also handling the music department, very knowledgeable in music. So I just request him to speak about Pandit Bhimsen Joshi.
We are also honoring Bharat Ratna Pandit Bhimsen Joshi. Bhimsen Joshi is a kind of a household name in Pune and most of the part of the India. His contribution in the Hindustani classical is immense. He brought the classical music to the masses without deviating to the grammar of the Hindustani classical. That was his biggest achievement. On his own terms, he delivered his music throughout his life, and he will be giving concert maybe at the NCPA, or he may be giving concert abroad at the various international festivals, or he will also give a concert on the streets of Pune city during Ganesh festival. You will find the same kind of a clarity, same kind of dedication, and same kind to surrender to his Kirana Gharana, and he will bring out the various nuances of his Kirana Gharana to his Bandish. So we all love him, and his contribution to the film, we may ignore it because he gave his voice to more than 50 films throughout his life. First he gave playback to none other than Pula Deshpande on his film Goyasa Ganpati in 1954 or 53, I think. Indrani Kati. And Indrani Kati is a film song. Later on it became a part of the Hindustani classical concert. That is a big achievement. Because
composed by P.L.
Deshpande. Composed by P.L. It is not a bandish, it's a abhanga. And abhanga has been elevated because of its rendering the music at such a level that it has been accepted very readily into the classical concert of the Hindustani classical. This is very big. It's not a bandish even. So that was the greatness of Bhimsen Joshi. So the way he will interpret the abhanga, the way in which he will sing the abhanga for the film, then later on outside the film during the concert, he will gradually introduce the same abhanga during his concert with the more emphasis on the classical side. So that was his imagination and his we call his pratibha. And later on he also gave music the Amol Palekar's film, and all the young generation know him for this song Mile Sur Mera Tumhara. Every child of the India, you go everywhere, this tune is very famous. And music, the greatness of the music, it brings people together. It brings people's mind together. It encompasses all the kind of fragmentation. We are living in the world of fragmentation. We used to live in the world of fragmentation because of the internet, etc. But because of the pandemic, we are now living in a physically fragmented world because we can't reach to the place where we wanted to reach. So, during these difficult times, I think the music, which will give us a kind of a hope and which brings us all us together on a common platform that we are a human being. And 20th year of PIF, we are. It is the first festival. I think that it is the first international film festival of Pune. Will be done in absence of Lata Mangeshkar. So that is the greatness, that we will miss Lata in person, but the voice will remain. And a little bit of some programs will be organized during the 8 days period, and we'll be paying our own tribute to this great maestro, Bhimsen Joshi. Thank you.
Now we come to just few words on the great poet Sahil Ganvi. And well, that's true that very young generation, they're only hearing the songs of Sahil Ganvi. A man of commitment, of course leftist commitment, a man who during the freedom struggle, and a man with great integrity, was associated with great composers, and his songs, especially with Gurudevji, have been a great things happening. It's like when Gurudevji was rediscovered again. First, we had era of all the Bengali directors or the Malayalam directors, and then later on Gurudevji was rediscovered. He was a great filmmaker. I think his music also was part of this visual thing, and also the poetry. Kahan hai, jala do jala ye duniya, chalo fir ek baar ajnabi ho jaye hum dono. They're all poetic things of Sahil Ganvi. Today we have very prosaic lyrics. वहाँ ये है, वहाँ वो है, वो किताब है, वगैरह वगैरह. But to write in the meters, the correct kind of a message, and a man who really believed in the integrity of India. His even bhajans are known. So we're trying to bring all the nuances of Sahil Ganvi. As Satish has suggested, that we will have some features in this festival where it's a surprise. The next session of the press conference will reveal to you. You'll be delighted to know that something happening. All these three people to you with the films, but plus some workshops and something on these three people will be presented to you. On Ray, on Bhimsen Joshi ji, and also on Sahil Ganvi. What was the whole aesthetic of his poetry? Everything. It's a kind of a surprise for you. That. So I welcome that. And Sahil is not only Sahil, but he represents the whole, nearly about 50-60 years of the lyrics of Hindi film industry. How great composers were connected to those kind of images. Now in the modern music, images are changing in the lyrics and also in the film. Even the sound, along with the sound, the songs are being now in a very different way. But during Majru Sultanpuri, Shailendra, Hassan Jaipuri, even up to the level of, up to Gulzar Saab and then Anand Bakshi, all these people, very committed poets who are known in literature. That's a great thing, like G.D. Madgulkar. Sahil Ganvi was a great literary figure, but he contributed to cinema also. So his contribution to cinema is tremendous. And whatever he wrote to bring those images into the visual was a challenge to the filmmakers. That's why it's going to be a very interesting thing this year that we are having Pandit Bhimsen Joshi and then Satyajit Ray and Sahil Jarvi. You know, perhaps for Pune, I'll tell you one thing, that Ravindra Sangeet has been a great part of Bengali cinema. When Manikda was making Charulata, and there is a song by Shamitra Chatterjee, he sings. You must have seen in the film and also on YouTube. People thought then that Ravindra Sangeet was known by Hemant Kumarji, or also some female. So who will sing in the film this Ravindra Sangeet of Shamitra? And the great surprise Satyajit Ray gave. And then you know who he brought? He brought Kishore Kumar to sing the song. Kishore Kumar sang for the first time in his life, he sang Ravindra Sangeet in Charulata. So Manikda is one. And so much Kishore Da was so mesmerized with that kind of thing that he later sang about 24 songs from the Ravindra Sangeet. The CDs are available. So such kind of impact music has. So these three were, you know, they're interlinked something with lyrics, music, and how the whole India temperature. And of course the greatest voice was Lata Mangeshkar. So this is how we are coming in this festival with all these three names. Now I request Saman Nakhatiji to come to the world cinema and exactly what is going to be the scene of the films they are showing.
Namaskar. Basically, it was a very high pressure job activity. Once we are just completing the earlier 19th Film Festival, and then it's an over pressurized kind of a thing. But I must actually thank my team, Mr. Abhijit Randive and Makaran Sathe. Sometimes it was so taxing that we used to sort of sit back and say, Makaran, will you please check this? Makaran said, okay, I'll go to this 30 films. So, okay, then Abhijit, you better continue with this. Because it becomes a very, very different job. Especially in such a high pressure time context. Another context is there are some things were going back and something were sprouting up. It's like, ये film इस festival में गई थी, चाहिए I want that. Okay, that was the film went to Chicago. Oh, it came here. Now this is it's a very different job. But I personally thank these two people who almost rather took the major burden or major capacity and pushed their energies this time. And otherwise it would have been a very, very taxing, very heavy job watching those kinds of films. Here, this is, I'm just really talking, and which the list is with you, is about international competition cinema. World competition, I think. So when we are doing this scouting and looking at it, many times we come across and we argue and we sort of share the layers of the cinematic context. And so all these films which are there, 107 Mothers, Amira, As Far As I Can Walk, Between Two Dawns, Erasing Frank, France, House Arrest, Jai Bhim, Maxwell, Mirrors in the Dark, Playground, Submission, The Exam, and Legion Audio. Now, another thing which happens during this course is sometimes that there are 4 films from one country. We try to avoid that from the same country, bringing 3 films or something. Another thing which I will be very happy to talk to you, because these days many international collaborations help in some other country to produce. So sometimes you'll find the country name is France, but it's produced, or the content matter is of a particular country. And that's how we went into, it's like Slovakia, Egypt, Jordan, Serbia, Turkey, Hungary, France, Russia, India, Spain, Czech Republic. And then we started realizing, here is the context which they are looking more positively. Here is the context is the struggle, but behind the struggle, what is the human spirit? here is the context which you are talking about, only a journey, not giving the specific end of the journey, but it keeps ourselves hopeful, especially the immigration or other context of references, women, the women from, or the elements of just thinking about a woman, where she's trapped, but she wants somebody else to come out of that trap or other kind of thing. And therefore, it's not only the subject matter, many times it happens the subjects are quite similar, but here is the content value, content intensity, and content exploratory capacities in the cinematic language, in the cinematic excellence or cinematic, I will call it native ethnic way of looking at the world. And this is why when we talk about, as we are discussing, separating, when we are watching films, we are feeling that we are still connected together. We are bound together. We are having that एक धागा है जो हम सबको जोड़ता है कि इंसान को आगे देखना है, इंसान को आगे जाना है, इंसान को कुछ समझना है. And that is where I felt, कहीं भी जाइए, wherever you go, you find these people are trying to make their attempt to reach out, to explore and extend. And that gave us the inner context. And therefore we selected this 14 films that somebody is trying to reach out and express. And this is those 14 films we are offering to you. Thank you.
No, retrospective.
विशाल यादीमध्ये रेट्रोची यादी वेगळी आहे का? हां नंतर करतात. अच्छा हो. अगेन सरप्राईज. So this is a whole हा ऐवज आहे सगळा एवढा. And I'll just trying to interconnect all these people, and then of course there will be two, as I said, there will be shift 72 on online, and plus we are also in theatre, all these things. And I'm telling you, I'm very happy to tell you that because of many things, many constraints, maybe financial constraints, maybe the film not reaching or something, but every international film festival in our country is practically being pushed up somewhere or getting postponed somewhere. I think this year, historically, we are the first in India, this year, in 22. Yeah, we are the first in India to have International Film Festival happening. And really, I must thank the team of Saban Nakhate, Makarand Sathe, and Abhijit Randive. It's a big task. I mean, having 1,500 films to watch. And one thing what I was discussing with them and seeing that you must be thinking exactly what is happening all over the world. This was one pandemic comes and makes the whole life all over. It's take Europe or America, North America, or even Asia, Australia, everywhere this has made a big impact. And see all that people, and they will find some films where having this kind of impact of all this. What has happened to the human being? What has happened to the family relationship? What has happened to the man-woman relationship? What has happened to the young age, young people? So these are all representing film what they've chosen. Is something I think it's going to be a treat. And then of course we are going to take some of these films to Mumbai as Yashwant International Film Festival, again sometime in March, then to Nagpur, and then in Latur. All these films are taking, and I'm thankful to Government of Maharashtra for continuing the financial support what they're giving to us. So thanks to the Chief Minister, Mr. Uddhav Thackeray, Honorable Uddhav Thackeray ji, and Honorable Ajit Dada Pawar, and also Honorable Amit Deshmukh for their wonderful support they have to this festival, as this is the official festival of Government of Maharashtra. The kind of award and everything. Only thing is, because of this pandemic, I am very disappointing. These other filmmakers of all 14 films will not be available to you here, except Indian filmmaker maybe, but also maybe very near neighborhood where quarantine is not a big problem. They'll be with you. And the jury is also going to be online. where they will not be able to come. There are so many restrictions now to come, and people hesitate to, not only that they're coming to India is a problem, for even to enter Europe, I think somebody coming from France to UK to Germany is also a big problem. So they are saying we'll watch it online. So it's going to be online screening for the jury. But you will go to and you will get them on the conclusion day, they will be there on the video with you. So I mean definitely you can see. And Marathi competition, of course, the competitors will be here with you. We'll have wonderful interviews with them. This time what we have done is that the intermission between the two film screenings is going to be about 15 to 20 minutes. Yeah. So idea is that normally what happens all over the world is that of course press is going to be there and the same audience. And the filmmaker is there. You can directly ask after the screening, after the curtain call, you meet the director or the team on the stage, ask questions, you will provide the mics. This time we're doing this so that other special press conferences are not going to be happen. If you need to talk to somebody, you can just ask us, ask Tusharji that we want to talk to this particular filmmaker. He will make available to you, have one-to-one or something. Especially I think the digital media is very keen. You take your mobiles and talk to them or something like that. So that will be definitely done. There will be workshops actually going to be live. There are going to be workshops on all these people. There will be which we are going to announce, I think, the next press, the workshops and everything. So I'm very happy you are all here in a big number. And I hope that you will be enjoying it. Next press conference maybe somewhere around 24th, 25th of this month, where we are having the opening ceremony, the closing ceremony, and the kind of workshops we have, or some special guests are coming, and what are the programs about these three people, what would happen, and all this in detail. There will be many personal talks about these people, so many things happening about Manikda. Manikda is there. And also about Sahil Lalviji and Pandit Bhimsen Joshi. So, Tushar, shall we open to questions now? काय सांगायचं राहिले का काही?
हा फक्त about registration